Making games is not easy. I think we can all agree. Even if you're not a developer, you can see always your favorite developer struggling on delivering on time. But making a modern game, that process has already become even more complicated. I mean, just talking about games, it really sounds straightforward. You start with a concept, figuring out the mechanics, story. You focus on one area that gives you that unique selling point, that thing that excites you, that thing that you want to put forward in front of millions, well, that's too ambitious, thousands of players. But you start with something, and that's where usually you cannot wait to start the process. And again, then it changes from talking about a studio versus an indie. An indie has the flexibility of jumping directly into it and figuring stuff out, but in a studio setting, you go in pre production. And this is quite different from every studio, but ideally, you get a prototyping phase in this stage to explore are the mechanic or the unique selling points that you wanted to explore and check the feasibility of it, playtest it, and really get a grasp of if this is something fun to further explore. And then after your prototyping and pre-production is done, so that again also includes concepting, figuring out how it might look, you go in production. But there's so many little nuances that are now kind of expected for the games to deliver or have that makes it a little bit more complicated. And these are not necessarily game features per se. These are quality of life features that, especially as an indie, you don't think about, because as an indie you usually, well, I'm speaking on my behalf, as an indie you mostly focus on the fine details, the USP, the unique selling point. And unfortunately, that's what we did on Pocket Galaxy, and well, that kind of bite us in the, The unfortunate truth is, even though I have been in the industry for a while, I still made those mistakes for my project. And we hit a roadblock that we couldn't have easily fixed without sinking ridiculous amount of time. So what do I mean by that? For example, a save system. Back in the day, when you played a game, you had to manually save, and if you wanted to change your computer or uninstall your Windows, you had to copy those save files to a floppy disk or burn it to a CD. And then when you reinstall the game, you had to copy those files back to the right spot, then you could continue. With Steam, this became like a no-brainer for every game that your save files are basically saved in the cloud and you can transfer it with your account. But nowadays, save systems are expected to be transferred with an account. And especially for a free-to-play game, this is even that much more important because, weirdly enough, even though players are not or have not paid for the game, they have even higher expectation of a service. And rightfully so. It sounds very straightforward and kind of mundane that, just connect your shit and have it on the cloud. The problem is it requires significantly more engineering and kind of pre-work to make this work easily. And for the case of Pocket Galaxy, that was quite a big challenge. And it still is a big challenge. In Pocket Galaxy, we had persistent galaxy generation with this like a UID seed that we wanted to keep persistent. We additionally wanted to allow players to jump in and out of the game. So if Pocket Galaxy was to work on the phone, we had to make sure if someone accidentally closed the app or the game crashed or if the phone ran out of battery, the progress is still saved. And that's where we hit the roadblock, to be honest. With our technical knowledge, we could not easily fix or adapt Pocket Galaxy's architecture to fit this criteria. And the weirdest thing is this was a criteria from the beginning. It was something that we took for granted that, when the time comes, we can figure it out because every game has it. This should be quite straightforward. And since we have never done it, we pushed it back and back and back. And when the time came, well, it was too late. we were kind of too deep into the mud and we had to figure out what we want to do. We had two options. One was to continue the project, focus on the save system, maybe refactor the entire backend and have a chance of making a game, or pause the project and do something smaller, improve our technical knowledge and come back to Pocket Galaxy. And the truth is, we actually decided on the second. Pocket Galaxy was supposed to be a 1 year project, turned into 1.5 years, then 2 years. And with this new challenge, it felt like it's going to turn into a 3 year project. And even though we believed in the project and we still believe in it, the game wasn't there yet for us to say this will 100% will be done in 3 years. And we really wanted to do more. We have a lot of ideas that we wanted to explore and a lot of things that we wanted to put in front of a lot of people to play and enjoy. So with that being said, this is sort of the announcement, a goodbye, a last hurrah to Pocket Galaxy for now as we look to other projects. Don't want to tease too much, but there's definitely something else coming. But the truth is, Pocket Galaxy was a very ambitious game. And looking at it, in order to reach its full potential, it actually requires a lot of the modern convenience features that we actually never have implemented. Me and Ashish have worked on many prototype games, and we have a lot of experience making a game, but we have very little experience tackling all the additional features surrounding it. The analytics, the save, the multiplayer, networking, everything that falls under the umbrella of convenience are stuff that we still need to learn how to implement, how to integrate, and how to maintain. Like, we haven't even gone to release and dealing with cheaters and other potential live ops issues. And this is exactly why we thought it's time to take a break, refocus and recenter, and tackle Pocket Galaxy potentially in the near future. But this pause was not just us giving up. We are pausing with a plan. We are planning on doing multiple smaller projects to build the infrastructure that we need to integrate into the rest of the games. We want to have small bits and pieces that basically are the foundations of a modern game, and we want to explore them individually in different games to ensure we have fully mastered it, as simple as that. And I want to thank you all for following Pocket Galaxy's journey until now. This is not the end, this is just the beginning. And stay tuned for the latest updates. Cheers and thank you.